Hey everybody, it's Rob the Mellow Guy here, and I'm back at you with another video. This video, because I haven't made one in a while, is going to be kind of like a makeup for all the recent vinyls that I've added to my collection. So this is going to be a lot of albums that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and it's going to be diverse too. So it's not just going to be hard rock metal, it'll be rock and roll, but you're actually going to get something a little more than just extreme music here. This is, like I say, going to be very diverse in terms of a collection update. A lot of time has passed since my last video. Again, I have been kind of slacking there, not making regular videos. But what it's done is it's allowed me to, in that time, I've been buying and collecting a lot of vinyl, coming across some great albums and deciding to add to my collection. Some albums that I've been a fan of for years, I'm like, why the hell did I not have this in my collection to begin with? Geez, I've listened to this album, or I've listened to this music for a long time, so there you go. And as you can see, I'm wearing a David Bowie shirt, so for all you people that are not familiar, I'd be shocked. David Bowie, fantastic artist, someone who I've enjoyed for a long time. I'm going back to high school. I remember watching VH1 Classic, the 80s videos, and I always loved Ashes to Ashes, Modern Love, and I liked the Ziggy Stardust stuff. So even back in high school when I was getting into thrash, death metal, again, I was listening to Morbid Angel, Deicide, Suffocation, Nile. I was listening to David Bowie as well. I've always been that type of person. Again, as much as I enjoy mainly hard rock metal, I have an appreciation for new wave, post-punk, and a lot of artists like David Bowie, that kind of style. With him, though, I have to say he was so dynamic. In each album, he came up with something different. He was very creative. He just had a plethora of creative ideas, and he collaborated with a lot of people, which to me is the one thing that gets overlooked is he was so open to working with different artists, kind of messing around different sounds. I mean, look at his 70s work, then look at his 80s, and even look in the 90s. He collaborated with Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, and he kind of had a little bit of an industrial sound there going in the 90s. So I've always been a huge fan of David Bowie. Didn't have a lot of albums in my collection of his, which is crazy because I was listening to quite a few of his releases, like I said, going back when I was, a young kid getting into rock and roll music. I was a big fan of the more, again, the songs that were played a lot, such as Heroes. But as I got older, I appreciated the not so well recognized songs, right? The songs that I feel don't get enough attention. Again, a lot of his music I feel has been commercialized. I mean, Jesus Christ, some of the stuff they're playing in commercials for Meta, which is crazy to me. It's like I've known this song for years. They were playing 5 years from Ziggy Stardust, and sure enough, now it's in a goddamn Meta commercial, the song. And they've been doing that with, again, Space Oddity has been played to death. It's one of those things. His career, he did so much that I don't get where people just focus on the hits, because he really came up with great albums if you listen from start to finish. That's all I gotta say. So let's begin with the albums that I've added to my collection for David Bowie. And actually, I'm gonna be making sure I got, because I've been, let's see here, that's not it. Yeah, I got everything here. Just making sure, people. Got all the albums I want to talk about. Let's see. I want to talk about, here's Ziggy Stardust. Have this on vinyl. My mom actually picked this up. She was in Reno visiting for my grandfather who lives in Reno, and she goes to Discology, or that's the store I usually go to. And I had asked, she was going up there, and I said I'd pay, but she was very nice. And Dave from Discology helped her out, because she said, hey, Rob's looking for some David Bowie albums to add to his collection. And Dave goes, well, I have Ziggy Stardust, and this is probably one of the well-known, one of his most popular albums for sure. Again, a lot of hits are on this. And Starman, that's one that I feel wasn't that used in a Marvel movie, for goodness sakes. Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, that's a classic. I personally love Rock and Roll Suicide, the last song on this release. 5 years, like I said, I recently heard that in a stupid Meta commercial, which is unfortunate because it's a really good song. Moon Age Daydream, that's actually the title. They have a documentary now on Netflix that I would highly recommend. And it kind of reignited, and again, I've always enjoyed his music, but it definitely reignited my appreciation watching that documentary. And I like how it's him talking, interview clips, and then it's kind of showing his life through the different periods. Very much an individual who had himself filmed, talking with different people, interviews, and giving his philosophy. I think his mindset I appreciate as an artist so much. And I'm going to say Moon Age Daydream, as much as it's a good song on this album, personally, I'm going to go with, I like the live version from the Ziggy Stardust, and it's in the documentary, and I've always liked that version. I remember in high school watching the Ziggy Stardust concert movie footage all the time on VH1 Classic, and I really enjoyed that. And again, I was listening to like black metal, death metal, doom metal, I was a fan of metal, and here it is at the same time I was listening to this David Bowie stuff, because that's always been kind of my personality. It's just not until recent, I think, that I just given a damn, because again, metal elitism, where you just can't listen to Satanic War Master 24/7. If you do, you become an obnoxious douche. That's just my opinion. And then I've got a couple of the period when he was in Berlin. David actually went there, kind of get a change of scenery, talks about it in the documentary, and he recorded some phenomenal albums. Low here. This one I really enjoy. It's a very iconic album cover. A lot of people, you see that shirts they have, posters. And well, again, what I like about these is you get the lyrics. There's the lyrics right there, which is kind of cool. And actually, I don't think, is this the one that gives you, no, you don't get the, you get the lyrics on this. I strike that, you don't get the lyrics. Maybe I'm thinking of Scary Monsters. This one has the song tracks and actually has the information who plays on it. And yeah, that's really cool. You got Brian Eno, great collaborator with David Bowie, played on quite a few of his releases. And especially this Berlin period, they came up with some phenomenal music. And I believe, if I was to look at this, you would actually see that, let me see here. Yeah, David Bowie actually plays a tape sax section and then harmonica. He does a lot, which is so cool. People don't realize this. He was a very talented person musically. He did so much. So that's kind of cool. And then if I was to go here, next is Heroes. This is my favorite album of his of all time. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna. That's a tough one. It's tied between Heroes and Scary Monsters. That's got to be it. I mean, I have both albums. But what I like about this is it's not just the title track Heroes that's really good. What about this album that really stands out and what I enjoy, and this was again recorded in Berlin, and it is by Tony Visconti. Tony Visconti, tremendous engineer. He worked, of course, and he also did work with T-Rex, to name one artist, but a ton of artists you could look up Tony Visconti, who he collaborated with. And sure enough, his work with David Bowie is great. Again, David worked with some very talented people. And let me see, I think it's this. Yeah, Heroes is the one too. You actually get the lyrics. That's why I also like this album and how it came out with the lyric sheet here. Joe the Lion, that's a really good song. Beauty and the Beast. Heroes, well known, covered by a lot of people. The song, I think it was covered for a movie about the football. Was that The Replacements? Somebody covered it, the Wallflowers or some crap like that. I can't remember. My favorite on this is Sons of the Silent Age, actually. If I was to pick a favorite, I really like that song. And then I love the instrumental work. And again, Eno does some really cool stuff with keyboards, coming up with ideas. And he does that on Low as well. But Moss Garden, I really love that. That's a cool song. And then the final song, The Secret Life of Arabia. That's another, again, there's so many good songs on these albums. It's not just the hits, but again, the hits get, mainstream radio just played the hits, right? They just focused on the damn hits, There's so much more that they could have, again, if they actually pulled their heads out their asses. That's my opinion. And then here's Scary Monsters. This, again, I said Heroes is my favorite, but man, I really do like Scary Monsters. This album the album cover, again, and he was dressing up like this, the Ashes video where he's like the clown. That music video is iconic. And I will tell a story about Ashes to Ashes. There's actually a significance is when I was in college, before I would go to bed, there were certain songs that I would listen to, right? You know, to kind of relax my mind before I go to sleep, you know, especially if I had a stressful day or something. And Ashes to Ashes was one of them. And at that time when, I was going to college and I listened to Ashes before I would go to bed. It was one of my, tracks. And the next day after listening to Ashes one night, that's when I found out David Bowie had passed away. And I was interning at a public access radio station, KRCB. And I was talking to the older DJs there that I worked with. And we were talking about David Bowie, and they were playing a bunch of his stuff. One of the guys brought in Black Star, the new album, and we were, going over, this is a pretty solid release. And that one video he made just before he died. And I was talking about how, throughout my life, I listened to his music. I appreciated it. Again, Ashes to Ashes, I was listening to it the night before, right? He passed away. And so it definitely was a thing that hit you. And this album too has not just, again, Ashes to Ashes, my favorite is up there as my favorite David Bowie song, favorite music video of his. But I like Fashion, and the song Scary Monsters is really good. And the beginning song, the opening song of this album, It's No Game, #1, is really cool. And he actually has this Japanese actress. She's speaking over the music while, it's going on. And just, again, the creativity that he put into these releases is, you can't deny it. And I really like this release. And here is, you get, again, the lyrics. Again, I'm glad they did that. So you get the lyrics, the way that's kind of set up like that. It's so cool. Yeah, that's why I'm glad I got this one. I bought this, I ordered. But my mom, she got Heroes and Ziggy Stardust from Discology in Reno from Dave. Dave helped her. Because usually I go, and actually I just went. I came back from Reno. My dad and I went to visit my grandfather. And when I was there visiting Dave at Discology, they're having the Wing Fest in downtown Reno. So all these people were eating their fried chicken wings in the freaking heat. And it was crazy like usual in Reno. You got the homeless and the people flipping out on the streets, and fat people drinking their beers and eating their chicken wings. And before I went to Discology, I saw quite the things going on there. But Deep Purple and Rock, man, this was so cool. I found this. Dave had this in his bin. This is actually what's cool. I've loved this album, man, because you got Speed King, the opening track, and then Child in Time is on this release as well. And Deep Purple and Rock is some really good stuff. Hard Loving Man, Living Wreck, Into the Fire. There's some really good Ritchie Blackmore riffs on this. And again, you get the open it up, gatefold here. But the album cover to me is one of the iconic rock and roll album covers, right? Especially in Deep Purple, I'd say that In Rock stands out. It's one of those album covers, when you see it, you're like, yep. Then the Mount Rushmore, kind of thing going on. It's great. And Ritchie, like I said, there's some really good tracks on this. His guitar playing is stellar. And then also everybody on this album sounds good. John Lord, Ian Gillan, Child in Time, one of the greatest vocal performances of, right there, his screams. Alrighty, and here is the Hell's Headbanger albums that I've gotten over the weeks that have come in. So shout out to Hell's Headbangers. They're a metal label that delivers. They had Nokturnal Mortum, Twilight, one of the Nokturnal Mortum albums, along with Lunar Poetry. I would say that that's some great material. I have that already in my collection. So didn't have Twilight. Album cover for this is beautiful. Great album cover. And the guitar playing on this sometimes surprises me. There's some actually really good lead guitar parts on Twilight. Check it out. It's not just a, quote, black metal release. There's so much creativity and diversity in the arrangements that I would recommend people checking out. And what's cool about this, look at this. Look at that, blue and white. Like that colored variant there. That was a good job choosing that one. So I'll put that away here, and then I'll pull out what I got next. From France, death thrash band Aggressor, Never Ending Destiny. This is, again, awesome album if you like death thrash. Just some really insane riffs, very technical, style of guitar playing. And this is just on a solid blue. If you look at that blue color. And this is cool because it opens up. You get the lyrics. There goes out the insert with the band photos. But look at that, you get the lyrics. Get some band photos. There's actually a little bit of liner notes about the album. It's kind of cool. You got to see some liner notes from the band. They're writing about what they did. And you get all these really cool photos of the band. If you like death thrash and you never heard of Aggressor, I'd highly recommend checking them out. Solid band. Like this album from start to finish, it's pretty sick. I think I'd say the song that I like the most is Prince of Fire on the B-side. That Prince of Fire is definitely my favorite song off this album. Okay, put this away. Whew, like I said, there's a lot of albums I'm going through today. Usually I don't do this. I'll go back to these later. And this is the most recent haul or order that came in. Here's From the Depths, an American black metal band from Ohio. This one I will say that I had not heard of From the Depths until Justin Horrible J-Dog's channel. And I've been buying from Hell's way before J-Dog had the channel. I've been buying from Hell since like 2013, around there. And there's a video on my channel if you want to go check it out where I'm talking about the first time I bought from Hell's Headbangers. My friend Uvraj is in that video. And Sean Count Blaggeroth was the one that kind of turned me on to, because he was ordering a lot of stuff and talking. So I said, let me check out this website. But I started following J-Dog as he was, beginning. And, there's things I agree with him or I like his takes. And there's stuff I can say, yeah, I disagree with that. But I've not heard of From the Depths. And I will say, they're really good. If you like, it's that black metal. It kind of reminds me a little of Dissection or that kind of style black metal. There's some death metal sprinkled in. But this album right here, Elysium, it is really good. Rob Mulzan, the singer, I thought he's solid, right? You get the band photo right there. It's cool. Again, the lyrics. Yeah, this is a Hell's Headbangers release. Like, they actually did this. So they did a great job with the album cover, the lyric sheet, the photos of the band, and then the variant, that splatter. It's cool. I gotta say, man, I was very much like, okay, because J-Dog kept bringing up From the Depths. And I said, let me check them out finally. And I did. And I was like, I really like Elysium. The other album, Bereavement's okay. I like it as well. But I personally, when I heard Elysium, it blew me away. Like the music. Like I say, Rob Mulzan singing. Actually, I thought the vocals on this, the execution of the songs was really good. And then I got a copy of Acheron, Lex Talionis. And what's sad about this is, I bring it up, is playing drums on this is Mike Browning. Mike recently passed away. For those who are not familiar, Mike Browning played drums in Nocturnus. That was his primary band. Before that was the drummer in Morbid Angel. People don't seem to realize, and sang Abominations, Abominations of Desolation. That release he played, and it's very sad because I interviewed Mike for my college radio show. If you want to check it out, it's on the channel here. And he was an extremely nice guy. One of the interviews, I say, he was so down to earth, so friendly. When I heard he passed away, it was like one of those things, again, it just hits you. You just stop and go, wow. Because he was a really cool dude, talented drummer, talented, just a creative force. Again, Nocturnus, here I have a copy of the Key on CD. It's one of my favorite death metal albums of all time, man. I love it. And this is on a white vinyl. This is cool. To me, this is my favorite Acheron release, probably. I do like the purple album cover. Said those of the something, those of the Unlight. Is that it? I like that one too. A lot of people don't, but I do. I think it's a solid release. This one I like because it has the song "The Entity," which appears on the Nocturnus demo that Vincent Crowley plays bass on, which he was briefly there in Nocturnus, which is cool. And Mike playing on this, yeah, music here is solid. Good death metal if you know want to check it out. If you're into old school death metal with a blasphemous, side lyric content, yeah, Legions of Hatred. That's a solid riff, solid song. I love this album cover. The artist who did this, he did a couple of other. I think he did some more Acheron album covers. He's a very talented dude. I like his work. Demon, sick. But anyway, people, that's the big collection update again. From David Bowie to Nokturnal Mortum to Acheron and From the Depths. Crazy, right? But hey, that's what you get with this channel. I talk about it all, got my experiences, and that's what I do. All things rock and roll, hard rock, metal, you name it, I'm a fan. Bring it up on the channel. If you have any questions about the releases, definitely put a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe as well for this video. Hopefully I do another one within a more reasonable time. We'll see though. Life's crazy, right? All right, everybody, take it easy.